You know what separates people who actually transform their lives from those who stay stuck in the same patterns year after year? It's not talent. It's not even opportunity. It's something far more primal, and most people completely misunderstand it. They think it's about staying positive or being disciplined, but that's only half the story. The real secret lives in a place most people are terrified to go, the moment right after you fail. That specific moment when you're sitting there, devastated, wondering if you should just give up. What you do in that moment determines everything, and by the end of this conversation, you're going to understand exactly why your relationship with failure is either your greatest weapon or your worst enemy. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Hunger doesn't feel good. Real hunger, the kind that actually changes your life, feels like discomfort. It feels like anxiety. It feels like that gnawing sensation that you're running out of time, that you're not where you should be, that something fundamental needs to change right now. Most people feel that sensation and immediately try to make it go away. They distract themselves, they rationalize, they lower their standards to match their current reality. But here's what I've learned from studying people who break through. They do the opposite. They lean into that discomfort. They use it as fuel. Think about it like this. Physical hunger is your body telling you it needs nutrients to survive. But psychological hunger, that's your future self, sending you a message from tomorrow, screaming that you're capable of more than you're currently settling for. The problem is we've been sold this lie. The transformation happens when you feel inspired, when conditions are perfect, when you finally have enough motivation. But let me ask you something. When did you first decide you wanted to change? I can almost guarantee it wasn't during your peak moment of confidence. It was probably when you hit rock bottom, when you failed spectacularly, when you looked at your life and felt genuine desperation. That feeling wasn't a problem to solve. That was the ignition. See, motivation is a terrible long-term strategy because it's an emotion, and emotions are temporary. You can watch motivational content all day, get pumped up, feel ready to conquer the world, and then wake up the next morning back to baseline. This is why most people's transformation attempts fail within weeks. They're waiting to feel ready, but readiness doesn't create action. Hunger creates action. Here's where it gets interesting. Every major achievement in your life probably has a pattern, and most people never notice it. Go back and think about something you actually accomplished, something you're genuinely proud of. Now ask yourself, what was the emotional state that preceded your commitment? I'm willing to bet it wasn't calm contentment. It was probably frustration, maybe even anger at yourself or your circumstances. There was a moment where something clicked, where you couldn't tolerate your current reality for even one more day. That's the moment your behavior actually changed. Not when you understood what you needed to do, but when the pain of staying the same became greater than the pain of changing. This is the hunger mechanism, and it's the most underutilized force in personal development. But here's the crucial part that most people miss. Hunger alone isn't enough. You need to understand the science of why you started, and then you need to protect that reason, like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. Think about people who start a fitness journey. Most quit within a month, not because the workout is too hard, but because they forget why they started. The initial emotional intensity fades, and suddenly, they're just going through motions without purpose. The ones who succeed, they've learned to reconnect with their original hunger on demand. They've developed what I call hunger recall, the ability to transport themselves back to that moment of decision, to re-experience the desperation, the determination, the absolute refusal to accept their former reality. Now let me tell you about the concept that changes everything. Your relationship with failure reveals your level of hunger. If you study for hours and fail the exam, you have two choices. You can let that failure confirm your worst beliefs about yourself, or you can let it reveal how badly you actually want this. Real hunger doesn't disappear after setback, it intensifies. Think about actual physical hunger. If you're genuinely hungry and someone takes your food away, do you become less hungry? No, you become more focused, more determined, more creative about finding nourishment. The same principle applies to your goals. When you fail and your desire actually increases, when you become more obsessed rather than discouraged, that's when you know you've tapped into genuine hunger rather than superficial wanting. Here's the framework that makes this practical. First, you need to identify the curse you're breaking, not some vague goal like be successful, but the specific generational pattern that ends with you. Is it the cycle of financial struggle? Is it the pattern of broken relationships? Is it the legacy of unfulfilled potential? Get visceral with this. What specifically are you refusing to pass on to the next generation? Second, you need to build behavior that matches your belief. This is where most people fail. They say they believe in their dream, but their daily actions tell a different story. If you genuinely believed you were going to transform your life, would you be scrolling mindlessly for 2 hours a day? Would you be hitting snooze repeatedly? Would you be avoiding the hard conversations? Your behavior is the most honest reflection of your actual beliefs, not your stated intentions. And finally, here's the ultimate test of hunger. What do you do in the gap between effort and result? Because there's always a gap. You will work hard and see nothing. You will sacrifice and feel unrewarded. You will do everything right and still fail. This is where hunger separates itself from wishful thinking. Hungry people don't need immediate validation because they're not performing for external approval. They're answering an internal demand that can't be ignored. They understand that the real reward isn't the outcome. It's becoming the person capable of achieving that outcome. Every failed exam, every rejected application, every setback is just data, information they're using to refine their approach. So here's my challenge to you, and I want you to get honest about this. Are you actually hungry, or are you just interested? Because interested people quit when it gets hard. Interested people need constant encouragement. Interested people blame circumstances. Hungry people, they find a way because there is no alternative. They turn their pain into progress because staying in pain without progress is unbearable. They develop discipline not because they're naturally gifted at it, but because their hunger won't let them stay comfortable with mediocrity. Your future is expensive, and the currency isn't money. It's the willingness to stay hungry, even when everyone around you is settling. The question isn't whether you'll face obstacles. The question is, when you do, will your hunger be strong enough to turn that obstacle into evidence that you're on the right path?